Do you find that a lot of what Ibero has done is being copied in other places?
Yes. You know, I think that you gotta really have a commitment, and we didn't have any resources, but I knew that it needed to happen. We needed to do something, and it would fall on us as the Hispanic agency. And then the staff were telling me that they were falling behind, so I said, well, I'll take that on with my administrative assistant, and that's what we have been doing. So I sort of take my CEO hat off, put a social worker hat on, and I talk to people and see, you know, the trauma that they have gone through. And it's amazing what it does just for people to be able to talk about their experiences. When the hurricane went through Puerto Rico, I had a lady that came and it was like 10 degrees out, and she had a sweater on. She said, I asked her, are you cold? And all she could do was cry. And she could not find a coat. So I found a coat for her. Then I said, let's sit down. What is it that you know, what happened? And so her mom died, and she had to sleep next to her for 3 days. And then she had to bury her in the backyard. So a trauma like that, when you don't have anyone to listen to you, can be defining for a person. I saw her today. She came upstairs. You know, she's applying for a job, and she's really happy. And she's really happy here because of the way that she has been treated. But it's not just, you know, by us, it's by feeling welcome.
So we're going to get to Hurricane Maria and the present stuff. I want to go back a little bit. When you first came over from Puerto Rico and you linked up with Ibero, you took on so many roles. Were you trained for any of them, or were you learning as you went along?
No. Like I said, in non-for-profit, just sink or swim, and I'm a swimmer. So I just learned, you know. When I would look to the funders, and I would ask questions, and could you help me? And people don't say no when you say, can you help me? You know, it's people like that. Especially if you're working with people at the state level that normally people say, well, I don't want to let them know that I don't know, because then they will come and be in our business all the time. So I invite them to come. I invite them to tell me what is it that I can do better. And like that, that has been the way that I operate, always. So we are very regulated, actually the whole agency, the different programs that we run. And so we never shy away from having auditors. Yeah. Because they can tell us if we are not doing something right, then we'll do it, we'll fix it.
Absolutely. I'm curious to know, where did the energy and motivation come from for you to do all this?
I have a lot of faith, and I think that I have been given a mission and a job to do, and God gives me that energy.
Why was something like Ibero necessary in the Rochester community? I'm sure there were other nonprofits, you had government agencies. Why was Ibero so important for the Hispanic community?
It's because we really know how to work with our community in terms of culture. We know the nuances of the culture, and we know how to respond to them when they come to us. And not that maybe other agencies may, but not to the extent that we.
Give me an example. What do you mean by that?
So, for example, a person that comes in to one of our offices may want to see a counselor, but along with that person comes the grandmother, comes the cousin, and it's okay, you know. It's so they can receive the counseling all at once. So in other places, they talk about confidentiality, but if the person is okay to have the family members with them, then it's fine for us. So if a person is in a hospital, you have tons of people that come to see them, and we are known for being loud, you know, and that's when you're happy, you're loud. And a lot of times, staff in the hospitals don't realize that that's who we are, so they start asking us to step out. So that is not knowing, you know, the culture. So.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Have you been able to have a work-life balance at all in this job?
Never. My job takes all my time. I am working even on weekends. Now more, so I tend to look at all my emails at 11, 12 o'clock at night, and I'm fresh and energetic the next day.
What are you going to do after this is over?
I'm not going to sit down. I'm going to continue doing something. So I'm in the process of developing a company for profit, and so we'll see where I want to make a lot of money so I can buy houses for the poor.
Wow.
So.
Wow. What's impressive to me is Ibero was built up over decades and was therefore ready, in a sense, for what happened with Hurricane Maria.
You know, I was leaving last year, and when Hurricane Maria came, and I went to Puerto Rico, and I saw the devastation of the island. I saw what was going on. I saw the kids walking around looking for water, looking for food. I saw the banks were closed. There was no money. There was no food in the shelves. We had a fundraising for Puerto Rico here, and we got about $100,000. But then when I went to Puerto Rico, I saw what was going on. So I took batteries and flashlights and mosquito repellents, because it was raining all the time and there was no leaves. The whole island was brown. It caused such an impression on me that I was devastated too. And when I left, before that, I purchased like 150 pounds of bread, and because that couldn't spoil, I went and took it around the island. I hardly saw my family because I wanted to see what was really going on in the whole island. So I went specifically to the center of the island, and little businesses that people built along the side of the road, and people on Sundays, they go out and they stop at those businesses and they buy a little food and they have a beer and then they continue. All of those were gone. All you could see was a continuous, all these houses without roof, families sleeping in wet mattresses, looking for food. So I was completely devastated. The day that I left Puerto Rico, there were thousands and thousands of Puerto Ricans crying because they were leaving the island. But they didn't have, there was no school, there was no food, there was no jobs. So at that point, I decided that something needed to be done for those Puerto Ricans that were coming. A lot of them were going to Orlando. Others were going to New York City. But in Rochester, there was a spike in the number of Puerto Ricans coming, even from before, because of the healthcare crisis and the economic crisis that Puerto Rico was facing. But now it was even more. So I had a meeting with the Red Cross. And then after that, I called on the county executive, the mayor, the city school district, and the hospitals. And we had a meeting where there were about 30 people sitting around the table. And I felt that, well, if you come to a country and you don't speak the language and it's cold, you have a different culture, you don't know where you are. And a lot of these people were in hotels and emergency shelters. So if you're in a hotel on Monroe Avenue and you're from Puerto Rico, what's Monroe Avenue, you know? So we decided that it would be good to open a center where people would come and get everything all in one place, from registering kids for school, to getting their health insurance, to getting interviews for a job, to getting, you know, a pediatrician, a hospital. So we opened a multi-agency welcoming center at 938 Clifford Avenue. We had a building that we fixed to do just that. And the first day, we were opening at 10 o'clock in the morning. I came in at 8, very organized, everything, making sure that all the agencies had their own table, and everything was really nice. When I got there were so many people in line waiting without coats. It was freezing. So we opened the door. There were about 1,000 people that came in. We were completely overwhelmed. Then we got the hang of it. And then from there on, it went to, you know, 200, 300, 400, and it varied. We're still open. We are not to the same level. We may have 10, 15 people come in, plus the ones that had come before, may be looking for other services. But I tell you, the Rochester community did a great job. I think that we are blessed, because when there is a problem like that, just the common people respond. You know, we started receiving $5, $10, $20 donation, and out of that, we started saving for security deposits to give people a car, a Walmart car, a Webmax car, to buy household items. But these people were received with so much love, and that really made me love this community even more. Then you have business people He probably doesn't want me to say his name. He saw me at a, and this is Dutch Summers. He saw me at an event, and he asked me, and I said, well, this is what's going on. He said, I'm going to send you this much money. I said, oh, that's great. So he sent me money. So out of that, we continue. And then we continue receiving more donations. And then I met with the ESL, who have been great too, United Way, the Community Foundation. And I talked to them about, I need at least one more staff. We could use a lot more, because when you have all of these Puerto Ricans coming, you need a lot of people. I just listen to the people, and then they keep calling me at the office. And then I call them at the hotels, just so they knew that they were not alone.
Do you realize that you and your staff likely saved people's lives?
We don't think about that. We just do what needs to be done. I love this. It's not only that it was Puerto Ricans. Even if it was African Americans, if it was Caucasian, and we had a disaster, we would have done the same thing, because it's human beings, and that is so important to me. I thrive on that. If I can prevent people from having a bad experience, improving their quality of life, that's what I'm all about.
La última pregunta en español, por favor. ¿Tienes un mensaje por la comunidad ahora?
Mi mensaje es, en español. Pues yo quiero a mi comunidad mucho, a la comunidad de Rochester en general, no solamente los latinos. Esta comunidad ha sido, me ha dado mucho apoyo, y yo pues lo agradezco mucho. Pero yo no voy para ningún sitio, yo voy a estar aquí en Rochester y voy a estar envuelta como siempre.
Excelente. Yo entiendo todo.
Wow, where did you take Spanish?
Oh, over time, just
Really?
here and there, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I love it. It's fantastic.